Welcome to another edition of our 2020 series. I'm the managing editor over at Motocross Action magazine. In front of us is the Yamaha YZ250. Again, this is the same bike as was last year and the prior year and the prior year before that. It's actually been the same bike for 14 years now. For the most part, the engine's the same, the chassis is the same. It has some color updates and the silencer has been different for sound regulation and stuff like that. The big change this bike was in 2005, went into an aluminum frame. In 2006, went with the SSS Kayaba suspension, which we absolutely love and still love. However, this bike's grown a little bit long in the tooth. It's a little bit shaky at speed. The frame geometry is a little off for today's standards. This is still one of my favorite bikes to ride. With a few little upgrades with like a FMF or Pro Circuit pipe, a Boys and Rat valve, stuff like that can make this bike really competitive with the new age stuff like the 2020 KTM 250SX. This bike is a super smooth revving power. It's really easy to ride. It doesn't build up power really fast. It actually makes around 5 more horsepower more than the KTM, way in the top of the RPM range, whereas the KTM makes 5 horsepower a lot sooner, more than the Yamaha. So they kind of cross paths and creates 2 different power bands. For newer riders, 2-stroke guys that just want to really get into 2-strokes again, this is the easiest bike to ride. It is a great bike off the showroom floor, and I hate to say that because it's such an old design, but it was a really great design and ahead of its time back then. We're gonna get our test riders out there. We're gonna ride this bike. I doubt we're gonna find anything new. However, whenever we ride 2020 bikes out there that are updated with new technology, this bike kind of falls farther from the tree. And what we get with that is kind of maybe learning something new about it. We have Josh Mosiman out here. He more grew up around 4-strokes. So maybe we can learn something from him. Maybe he feels something different that we can tell you guys, especially you younger guys. So he's gonna ride, do us some whips. We'll get back to you with our initial impression of the bike. If you want to see some details or past tests as this bike's exactly the same, check out the link in the description or go to our website, motocrossactionmag.com. We have tests from 2018, 2019. I mean, it just goes back to, I think, 2005, 2006 on there. And you can find everything you need to know how to build this bike to how you want it, how to produce more power, how to produce power in different sections. So really, on our website, we have everything you need to know about this bike, how to make it good for fat, skinny, slow, fast guys. So head there and stay tuned for some feedback.
Hey guys, just got done riding the 2020 Yamaha YZ250 2-stroke, and man, it was a blast. As soon as I got off the track, I had a big smile on my face. It's crazy to think that bike hasn't been updated since 2006, but it's still such a fun bike to ride, and it's actually fairly competitive for what it is. The bike's not going to beat a 450 going up the hills, but it is going to be a good time when you're riding it. With just a few modifications, this bike can run and do well in 2-stroke only classes. For me, I grew up riding 2-strokes as a kid, 50, 65, 85, and I even spent some time on a Suzuki RM125 2-stroke when I first moved up to big bikes. For me, I don't get to jump on 2-strokes very often, but when I do, it's definitely a blast. The tried and true Kayaba SSS suspension has been around since 2006 as well. Little updates since then, but it's basically the same thing, and man, that suspension is still some of the best forks the MXA has ever tested. The Yamaha 250 2-stroke, it's powerful off the bottom, it hits well, but you do have to shift a lot. For me, coming from a 4-stroke, nowadays the 4-strokes, especially 250 and 350 miles, they really want to rev before they shift, and they're making a lot of power. This bike is comfortable to jump on. I literally just checked the sag, it was right where I needed it at 100, moved the levers, hopped on it, and went and had a blast. Because this bike has been around for so long, the availability on parts is almost limitless to upgrade your YZ250 2-stroke. So you can have a model from way back in the day or even today that all have the parts that interchange. So this bike is cheap and inexpensive to upgrade. So many guys are buying and selling YZ250 shocks. And you might be asking, why is MXA spending their time testing a YZ250 shock if it hasn't changed? Well, Yamaha is the only Japanese manufacturer that actually makes two shocks nowadays, and we like two shocks. So as long as they're making them, we're gonna test them. So overall, it was an awesome day on the YZ250 shock. But if you think we're done with this bike and we're just going to set it aside in the back side of the garage while we test other new 2020 models that have actually been updated, well, you're mistaken. We're actually going to be taking this bike, and if you follow MXA, you see that we do a lot of project bikes with our 2 shocks and 4 shocks. So this bike's going to be taking on a whole new face coming up here. We're going to be rebuilding it, throwing different exhausts on there, different suspension, doing all kinds of new upgrades to show you, our Motocross Action viewers and readers, what you can do to your own 252 shock. So if you have a YZ252 shock, or if you're looking to buy one, make sure to check out our website, motocrossactionmag.com, or our magazine, just to find all information that you need to upgrade your bike, make it better, and make it more fun to ride. And speaking of project bikes, MXA has built a ton of these things. So to check out some cool videos on the YZ250 shock, click these videos below. And to stay up to date with the Motocross Action Wrecking Crew, make sure to hit that subscribe button.